Welcome to the Emotionally Baked podcast, where emotions and baking are the two most perfect ingredients. Hello and welcome today. How are you? This is going to be a little different. I'm recording outside of the kitchen because, like the title says, it's been a difficult one lately. So we're going to make some banana chocolate chip muffins in my favorite bowl. I've done banana bread before, but we are going to be using the same recipe and making them into muffins because this is a comfort recipe, comfort food, and that's definitely what I was needing. So I am recording this at a different time than what I did the recipe at because I was breaking down a bit. I'm showing you the recipe. Oh my goodness. But I will write it down in the notes, the show notes, so that you can look at it even better. And it's perfect when you have those bananas that are just kind of needing to be used. So this is what I'm doing. A lot of mine had some dark spots on it, so I did have to get an extra banana because they were really going bad. So I'm glad I got to use them up. So I'm just going to put those in and we're going to mix them up with a potato masher, which is fun to use if you don't want to get out your stand mixer. And I didn't want to get out my stand mixer this day. So breaking down, and it's been hard lately. I have broken down a few times, and I'm not afraid to say that I have, because I think that is just something that happens just in the normal emotional ups and downs of life. There's just moments where it looks like I don't really like those bananas. Oh my goodness, the faces that I make. But anyways, it just seems like the ups and downs of life kind of get you sometimes, and definitely have been feeling all that lately. So it's been quite, and I was actually super glad because I filmed a couple of episodes, and that's kind of, if you're podcasting, that's kind of a good idea, is to film a couple that have in your back pocket, so that if you have moments like this, you can post them and not have to worry about, stopping the progress of your posting. And I was glad I did, because it's taken a couple of weeks to kind of get things emotionally back in order. So it felt good here to take my masher and to mash these bananas up. It just really helped to get some of my feelings and emotions out. And if you're like me, when you break down, that's a really strong and heavy emotion. And that's one reason why I was this is a great example, because I was feeling that way, and I did decide to record me, and I'm in my pajamas, my book PJs. Oh, they're so cute. I did decide to film myself emotionally baking, but why I decided not to talk in my filming was because the emotion was just too hard, and why I'm actually doing this voice recording weeks later, because it's taken me that long to regulate. It's crazy. So I'm adding the wet ingredients here. The wet ingredients are just some oil and some water, and I do mix up the sugar with this as well before I put in the dry ingredients. Oh, and the vanilla. So I will be going ahead and doing that and putting that into the mixing bowl and showing you the utensils that I'm using. Yes, I'm going to be whisking this all up together because I want it to be as smooth as possible. If you know making banana bread or any banana muffins or anything with banana, it's really hard to get it smooth because if you don't use a food processor or a blender, the bananas are going to be a little clumpy. So I whisk everything in this recipe so that I can get it as smooth as possible. Hoping that my measuring cup is clean. If you're watching this and on YouTube, the faces that I am making, I'm just wanting to laugh at myself because I don't realize, I guess, the faces that I'm making when I'm not talking and I'm just doing things without really realizing it. Oh my word, so funny. But anyways, just whisking these wet ingredients up so that I can put the dry ingredients together. And yeah, oh, you know what? I think I sifted, but look at me. Am I not sifting? Oh no, I am. I'm putting the flour into my sifter. It's off the side. You can't see it. Oh, I was crossing my fingers. I was like, I think I sift everything. And I was going to be a liar. Anyway, so breaking down it's not fun either, because it's like when all your emotions come together and it's like the perfect storm of circumstances that are happening. It's like what's happening physically around you, whether it's, life things that are happening, things that are going on, and then all the emotional things that are happening, and they all culminate. And usually it's like one day an emotional thing happens, and the next day something physical in your life happens, and then you can kind of deal with those each day that it comes. But for me, when stuff happens all at once and there's just too many parts and pieces to regulate and deal with, that's when my body just kind of shuts down, breaks down, and it's too difficult to do pretty much anything. I think I did film this on a weekday. I had already taken my kids to school. I had taken them to school in my pajamas, and which sometimes I do, but sometimes I don't, just however it is. But like, I just remember this day, I came back home and I just didn't want to get out of my pajamas. And it was all the emotions of everything just coming together. So I am sifting all of my dry ingredients, my flour, my baking soda, my salt, my cinnamon together here. If you saw, yes, I did not measure my salt again. Oh my, I just kind of eyeballed it. And that just kind of comes with baking age. Like, you kind of know how much salt to put in and how much salt not to put in. And I probably should measure sometimes, because sometimes I have overdone it. I just feel, this was one of, this was one of those days where it was almost like I just needed a comfort food and I was just trying to get it done and in the oven, and that's what I was doing. So I'm going to go ahead and whisk this up here, just making sure all the ingredients are incorporated, and I'm going to add chocolate chips to it. And I added a ton, and it wasn't by mistake. I love chocolate, and yeah. And since I was feeling like I needed it, that's exactly what I did. But the good thing about this banana muffin recipe is that you can use this, if you don't mind the banana flavor, you can use this as a base muffin recipe, and you can put pretty much anything in it. Like, I've done blueberries, I've done pecans, I've done other fruits or other different things like, white chocolate or something like anything. So I really appreciate that recipe can do that. But again, you have to like that banana flavor, because the banana, you will be able to tell that they're banana. It's not one of those where it's like it will mask it or anything. You can tell that it's banana. But I don't mind that. I don't mind that flavor. So, yep, if your family doesn't, if you don't, then you can go ahead and swap anything out, which I really enjoy that you can do. Because I actually looked for not banana, but for muffin recipes that are just like a plain recipe that I can use to kind of do whatever with. And I have chosen other ones to kind of, like plain muffin recipes where I can just add and mix and stuff. And they haven't really worked well. I don't know if it was just the consistency. I really like the consistency of this one. My sleeves were getting in the way. They have these cute little bows. And while I do love it and it's super adorable, I have to watch to make sure I keep the bows out of the things that I do. It's just making sure I don't get them dirty. And actually, if I'm at the stove making my coffee in the morning, I have to be careful because I don't want to get those on the burner. Oof. Anywho, but yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and put this batter into the muffin tins that I already sprayed, and I made sure this time to like really fill them all the way to the top. Sometimes and this recipe is similar to other ones, I feel like I have way too much batter and that it's going to be a lot in the cups, but actually I learned to like fill them all the way up so that I do have a good fluffy muffin instead of just filling them. Like sometimes a recipe says fill 2/3 of the way full, and then I am left over with all this batter and I'm like, you know what? Nope, I'm going to fill them all the way. And that really does the trick. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just filling all this up, getting all the goodness into the muffin tins. So yeah, it's different to kind of come back to a video and look at how I was feeling at the time and kind of self-analyze. And actually, I didn't quite know what to call it. I'm just showing you the muffins. I'm going to go ahead and put them in the oven. I didn't quite know what to call this episode because at the time that I was baking, I was just feeling so much and I was just making something and I didn't really want to know what am I going to say that, the emotion that I'm feeling to go along with, the muffins that I made. I just didn't know what to quote call it. And I'm thinking okay, banana muffins. And then I'm like, oh wait, I was literally breaking down. And there you go. I'm just going to wait for the muffins to be ready. And yeah, snack on some chocolate. That's exactly what I'm doing. So, yep. So it just kind of worked out that the title and what I was making kind of just worked well together. And here you go. The muffins are all done. They're complete, yummy, delicious. Gonna go ahead and not even wait because I was just wanting this comfort food. So right now, I was just wanting it, and I was wanting to have a little joy in this day. And it was hot, but it was yummy. So I hope you make this recipe. It's a really good one, really simple, really easy. And remember, if the salt in your recipe comes from tears or a teaspoon, just remember, we baked it out. And don't worry, it'll be okay.